We're creating some slide presentations with Google Apps script. So running the code, it's going to create the presentation and then populate, so creating a new slide. So we're going to be adding a couple slides and then some content into the slides. So that just gets stored to the Google Drive, and then within the presentation, this is going to be the output, and then you can customize the output as needed with AppScript. Go over and create a brand new script. So open up your script editor, logging into your Google account, and we're going to create a new slide presentation and give this one a name. So I'm going to give it a really long name there, create new slide presentation. So first of all, let's create a variable, and this is going to be the slide name. So whatever we want to give our presentation. So we just call it presentation 1. And then what we want to do is we want to create the actual slides. So this is going to be the presentation. And using the Slides app service, and then using create method, whatever the name of the slide that we want to create. So just do it slide name. So it's using the value there that we have there. So slide name. And so what this function will do is it's going to create a new slide presentation within the root of the Google Drive. So this is just a blank presentation. And we can also add in different values there. We can also get the slide presentation ID. So we can use the presentation object and then get the ID of it. So you can always get the ID of the various objects that get created within the presentation. So that in this case it would have returned back this ID, and then you can also use the ID in order to update the slide presentations. So let's go ahead and we're going to select and create some slides. So just do slide 1, and this is going to be using the presentation object that we just created, and then using the appendSlide methods. And within here we use the slide app service, and whatever, if we want to use a predefined layout, so there's the different predefined layouts that are currently within the object. So these are all the different layouts. If you just want a blank one, there's the title one. So you can select from any of these. For the first slide that we'll create, we'll just create a blank one. So this will be slide 1. It's adding in a blank slide within the slides presentation. And then let's add in some text here. So creating a text box object and selecting the slide 1. We're going to insert a shape, and the shape that we're inserting is again using the Slides app service and then the shape type. And these are all the different shapes that you can insert within your slides presentation. So here we're just going to be selecting a text box, so as we want to add in some simple text into the presentation. So it's going to be the first slide that gets created. And then once we've got our text box created, we can get the text that's currently in there, and then we can select, and so we've got the text object, we can set the text. So in this case we'll do hello world. And then also if you want, you can chain it together with more methods, or you can select text box once again, and if you want to position it, so we've got the setTop. So this number of pixels off the top, so it's a numeric value. So let's do 40 off the top, and then setLeft. And this is going to be setting where we want to set that object to the left. So let's move it 50 off of the left. So that's where we've got the text, and we've created the first slide. So run that. And then just wait for it to create it. So there's our new presentation. So that's our new slide that's created. That's the text box. There's quite a bit that you can do with these text boxes. So let's create another text area. Or we could just simply insert a text box. So actually in this case what we'll do is we'll enter in a subtitle. So we don't have to go through all of the Slides app shapes. And we're going to be inserting a text box in there. So using the slide that we just created, so slide 1. and then there's an option here where you can insert a text box. So this is going to insert the text box in there. And here we'll just put my name within the subtitle there. And then just as we did with the text box as well, so for the subtitle, we can get the text, and then we can set the text. And we'll just set the text there to be Laurence Svekis. And then we can also get the border. Or actually, let's just do this on another object there. So we're set the text. And then within the subtitle, we can get the border. And once we've got the border object, there's a number of options here. So we set the weight for it. So this is going to be expecting a string value there, or a numeric value there as the border. We can select the subtitle and get the fill. So first we select the object to fill, and then we can set the fill to solid, and then setting whatever we want. So in this case, we'll fill it to red. So you can select whatever color you want. And then also there's the positioning that we just saw before, where we're setting to the left. So this is the number of pixels to the left. Let's do 400. And then we can also chain together for the positioning the set top. So whatever number of pixels we want off the top. So that's our slide there. Let's copy that and we'll create another slide. So that's our first slide. And give this one a slide 2. And so this case, we're going to create a different type of slide for slide 2, and selecting out the different templates. Let's do a title. So do title only, or you could just do title as well. So any one of these that you want to select. And then for the slide 2, we're going to set, and we'll update these to be new title. And within here, we're going to insert a new text box for the title. And this is just creating that new title object. So setting up the text box for the title. And then where we want to position the title. So just as the other objects there, that we set the position of where we want it to be sitting. So we can set it off the top or set to the left. And I can also add in the fills into this as well. So we can get the fill value object, and then we can set the solid fill, and then here you can specify a color. So set it to be blue. And there's a number of options here that you can do for the different positioning of it. So setting it to the left, setting the width of it. And then there's the border. And there's a number of options in the descriptions, placeholder text, scale, width, height, sending it to the back, front, setting up the different positions of it. So there's all those that are available there. So within the slide 2, we'll select a body for it. So this will just be the new body value for it, and that's going into slide 2. So just update that to be the new body. And in this case, what we'll do is we'll insert a shape. So just as we've got up here where we're inserting instead of text box, we'll select slide 2 and do an insert shape. And then the shape, we'll use the slide app and set the shape type. And the shape type that we're going to be selecting is going to be a text box. There's our text box that we're inserting. And then for the new body, we can get the text and also set the text. And then we also can set the border just as we did before. So make sure that we've got the right object selected, selecting the fill if we want, and then selecting the position of where we want it located. So let's update this to be left 100. And we'll do top 60. So they're not exactly going to be the same. And then this can also use a hex value. So you can set it to be just a white filled background. And it looks like we just did throw an error there for the fill. So it's actually expecting a hex value there. And we'll also update the hex value here as well. And run the code again. So that's why we only ended up with 1, because it was throwing an error. So there's our second one that we're running, and then this one is actually creating, so we're creating the text box there. And then this was using the different, for the layout, it was using the title layout. And it's setting it up with the green background there, and then adding in the text values. So that's how you can create slides using Google Apps Script.